Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here for our Road to College and Career Family Session. We're very excited to have you all with us.
Buenas noches, familias. Gracias por estar con nosotros hoy en la noche. Gracias por venir a la sesión para nuestros padres, que se llama Vida Después de Uplift, que está puesto por el departamento de Road to College, que es camino hacia la universidad.
Great. So I know we have middle school and high school families with us, and tonight our title is Life After Uplift. So you may be wondering what that means. Well, we are so happy to have Uplift Luna graduates with us tonight to share about their college experience and what it's like after Uplift, but also for families to know the type of services and support that we provide our Uplift graduates along that journey.
Esta es nuestra sesión de hoy, se llama La Vida Después de Uplift. So tenemos, y aquí las familias que tenemos hoy aquí son de middle school y de high school. Y en esta sesión invitamos a nuestros alumnos que ya se han graduado con sus familias para que hablen un poquito sobre su experiencia de cómo estuvieron en Uplift y ese camino que tomaron para llegar a la universidad.
And here in a few moments, we'll break off into separate rooms. So we'll have an English panel for families to join and also a Spanish panel for families to join as well. And before we do that, I'll hand it over to our middle school director.
En unos minutos vamos a movernos a diferentes salones, por decir, va a haber un salón de español y otro salón de inglés. Pero antes de hacer eso, vamos a hablar con la directora de middle school.
I don't think she's on the call, Robert. She might have dropped off.
All right, no worries. So sorry about that. Our campus leadership had to hop off the call, but I know on the behalf of them, I know that they are super excited to have you join us tonight, and especially taking time away from your evening. And I know that they believe in the mission of Uplift and what scholars are capable of, and just to know that you are demonstrating that commitment to your scholars education by being here tonight, I know is something that they are very happy about and excited for, and are looking forward to just the stories that are going to be shared tonight.
Disculpen, Mesurio no pudo estar aquí en la llamada con nosotros, pero nos da mucho gusto que están todos ustedes con nosotros hoy en la noche, tomando tiempo de su cena, de su tiempo con su familia, para escuchar un poquito más sobre la experiencia de nuestros alumnos que se han graduado de Uplift, cómo superaron, qué apoyos recibieron, y nos da mucho gusto que ustedes están aquí con nosotros para escuchar estas cuentos que nos van a contar estos estudiantes y sus padres.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can see all who's here. And perfect. So my name is Robert Ortiz, and I am part of our Central Management Office. I'm Director of Family Engagement for College and Career. And so I sit on our Road to College and Career team. So super excited to be with you all, and I'll allow Miss Jessie introduce herself.
Good evening. My name is Kara Jessie. I'm the college counselor at Luna, and just really happy to be here to share the experience. So all the families that are on our panel this evening are families that I was able to be part of their journey, and I'm just so proud of what they've accomplished so far, and they have great stories to share. There's a reason we picked them, and so I think from the scholar perspective, as well as the parent perspective. Moms and dads that are on the call, the parents that are represented here are the best parents that I've worked with and can really share their experience as well, from watching their student and helping their student and supporting them in the best way. So glad to be here this evening with you guys.
Great. And then I'm going to also have our panelists to introduce themselves. So let's start with Kylan and Miss Mills, and then we'll go from there to Marianne.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kylan Brown. I'm currently a freshman at Morehouse College. I'm studying biology with the pre-med track, and I plan to become a pediatric surgeon once I graduate.
Good evening, everyone. I am the proud mother of Kylan Brown, and just happy to be here and help in any kind of way that I can. So you guys support Luna.
Okay, so hi, my name is Marianne Delgado, and I am a sophomore at the College of St. Benedict and St. John's University. I'm majoring in biology with a minor in neuroscience, and this is my mom.
Hola a todos, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Rosalí Jiménez. Estoy muy emocionada de estar aquí compartiendo con ustedes en esta tarde y feliz de poder compartir lo que hemos vivido en esta tarde.
Welcome. So happy that y'all are here to share your stories. So Miss Jessie, if it's okay with you, I'll start with the first question and then we can go back and forth from there.
Sure.
Cool. So I know you just introduced yourself, but if you can go into more details for our alumni, what year you graduated, and then share again where you're going to school and your intended major.
Kylan, you can go ahead first if you want.
Okay, so I graduated just last year, class of 2020. I'm studying biology with the med track, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm also studying biology, and like I mentioned before, I'm a sophomore. At first, I feel like being a second year student, you kind of go through the journey of like, and the pressure of figuring out what exactly that you want to do with what you're doing. And I've looked at different things like forensics, criminology, I've always been interested in, but I've taken a couple of psych courses that have kind of rerouted that. So I'm looking more at like neuroscience and possibly doing something with kids in speech pathology, which still involves science, but I mean, I still just have like a big peak for science, so.
Okay, we also want to have the parents share just a little bit about their background and really what was the reason you chose to enroll your child at Uplift? And Ms. Mills, you want to start?
It's like when you're sliding a thing to go to mute, unmute, unmute. So I'm trying to mute, unmute. Background, you mean my background or oh, so I got a degree in social sciences from Texas University, and I currently have a master's from Prairie View A&M University, HBCU, in Masters of Arts in Counseling and Leadership. And currently I am a suicide therapist at JPS Hospital, which I enjoy. I chose Uplift at a time where Colin was going to public school, I believe in the 3rd grade. And it just seemed like he was falling a little bit in the cracks and no one was worried about it. It seemed like in the public school, more of them, they were interested in students that were just like A+ and you know, the gifted and talented. And I knew he had it, but you know, it just seemed like no one seemed to care. When he transferred, someone told me about Luna, and when he transferred, I want to say within 6 weeks, Miss Andrews, I will never forget, Colin was like top notch, and he has not, ever since he's been at Luna, he has excelled every single year and even more. So it was always in him. He just had a great support system to me. at Luna, from teachers, counselors, everybody is involved, supportive. There's not a person that you couldn't reach if needed. So I'm very happy I made that transition in the 4th grade, and he's been there and graduated in 2020. So it was the best decision that I made, and I'm very happy that I did. Anything else? Am I missing anything?
No, that was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Marianne, are you still with us? So Marianne and her mom, if mom is more comfortable in Spanish, you can translate for her as well.
Oh, okay. Would you prefer me to, or is it okay if she talks in Spanish? Because I can do that too.
Well, this should be English only. So this is different than the Spanish room. So if you'll just, if she's more comfortable speaking in Spanish, she can. And then if you'll just translate for her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mi experiencia como mamá llevando a mis hijos a Uplift Luna ha sido una gran experiencia. Escuché por medio de una amiga que eran muy buenas escuelas, y pues yo feliz de tenerlos ahí, ¿verdad? Pude darme cuenta de la preparación que tenían todos los maestros, sobre todo la juventud de ellos, entonces creí que la energía de ellos pues iba a poder ayudar a mis hijos, y en realidad así ha sido todo este tiempo. Hemos tenido muy buena ayuda de parte de Miss Jessie en informarnos sobre cómo es el colegio. Antes de ir a colegio nos informó muy bien sobre todas las cosas. Ella es mi primer hija yendo a colegio. Entonces.
So let me just, so I won't like miss anything that she said. She's basically saying that she heard about Uplift from a friend, and she kind of looked into it. She wasn't very happy with like where the public system was at, I guess. And so she always worried for our education in that aspect. So she looked into it, and I actually started going to Uplift Luna 6th grade. My 6th grade year started since I was in middle school, and I graduated from Uplift Luna High School. And she just saw a difference in the staff, like meaning the teachers, like how young they were, and they were just so excited for us to actually do something with our lives. And in addition to that, the college experience for her obviously wasn't in her life. And so being able to have people like Miss Jessie that informed her and really prepared us for what college will be like, because I am also the eldest. So it's also pretty hard, you know, with your first child, like having to know what to do or how to do it or make sure that you're doing it in the right way. So yeah, she was just really thankful for mainly the people who were working at Uplift and the way they were guiding us. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you both for sharing. So Miss Riley has some great questions in the chat that I know we'll get to here in a couple of minutes. So thank you, Miss Riley, for putting those there. So the next question is for our alums. So Marianne and Kylan, can you just provide a brief overview of your Uplift experience? And what were those support systems that helped you along your journey? So during your time at Uplift, especially as you were trying to decide on which college to attend.
My experience at Uplift was pretty good. I went through from 6th grade all the way to 12th grade, and I was able to meet teachers and have them grow with me, like with me as we went up in grades. Sometimes teachers would transition and come to a higher grade level or something like that. So it was easier for me to make a relationship with that teacher because I knew I had them last year. So it was kind of like easy for me to like open up to them. It wasn't that hard, meeting another teacher. I definitely thank Ms. Jessie for helping me get to where I was, especially for my HBCU choice. I didn't know exactly where I wanted to go, and it kind of like, I was really lost on where I wanted to go, but Ms. Jessie helped me even when it came to write down personal statements, scholarships. Ms. Jessie really helped me, and that's where I am today.
To answer or follow up the same question, I agree with Kylan in a lot of different ways, and the same ways because I also started in 6th grade, and like he mentioned, in addition to it just being a small school, I feel like most of Uplift schools are not as big, or in comparison to public schools, you're more inclined to develop these relationships with your teachers and your peers. Like a lot of the kids I graduated with, I've known since 6th and 7th grade, and it's a different experience when you get to develop relationships and you get different attachments to the environment, which all kind of helped me pull my feelings together when I needed to, and when I was much more open to talking to teachers about what I was thinking and going through, because at the beginning I was very close-minded, very close-minded. I didn't think that I would want to be in an out-of-state school. I was like, no way. Like, I've always been so close with my mom, so close-knit, like I just don't want to leave the nest. And so that aspect completely changed. And I ended up going to school in like Minnesota, which is really far away. And it benefited me though in so many ways, because I've like seen so much growth within myself and just mentally. And it's something that you want in life, you know, to be independent and be confident in yourself or where you're going. So I, of course, I give that to my mom for just always supporting that decision of me, you know, like going away, and my teachers for pushing me and believing me in that aspect. And it's not just like, yeah, my teachers believe in me. It's like they really do believe in you, and they just really entrust that with you, and it's really helpful when you're making big decisions such as college and amongst other things.
Great answers. Thank y'all for sharing. Next question is also for you guys, for the scholars. Looking at your first year of college, what was the hardest transition for you, and how did you overcome it? And then what did you learn at Uplift that helped you move forward?
So the biggest part of like the biggest transition for me was having my first semester of college virtually. I wasn't able to move on campus because the school had closed the campus. So it was very hard for me to balance school and work and then family life as well. So I had to kind of like take my room and turn it into like a study space instead of actually being like a relaxing place. So it was kind of hard at first because I didn't know how to manage my time when it came to logging the classes on Zoom, or, you know, sometimes it'd be really sleepy and then it'd be hard to get out of bed because I would have to sign in on my bed. So it's like, how do I get up? Like it was a lot going through that first semester. But now this semester, second semester, I'm on campus and I find it so much easier because there's not as many distractions. I'm not working right now, so it's very easy for me to stay focused on my studies. Like last night, I was able to study to like 3 or 4 in the morning on my midterm, and then I took the midterm this morning. And I just feel like if I had to did that at home last semester, I used to get home around like 12 o'clock in the morning when I had to get off of work at 11. So it would kind of be hard for me like to take that time and actually study because I would be tired. You know, it could have been a bad day at work or whatever it could have been. So I think that's definitely how my first year went. I'm expecting to have a little bit more next semester, my sophomore year, because the campus will be open fully. So right now we're at a limited number of students, so I don't really get to socialize, but I'm really excited to be for next semester.
Okay, just to clarify, it's what was the hardest part for first year, and what else, Ms. Jessie?
And what did you learn at Uplift that helped you move forward?
Okay. My first year, I was lucky enough to like actually experience my first fall semester all on campus. It was great. I got to meet so many people. It was a different experience. Like I was just on my own and really independentizing myself, which I felt happy about. I think the idea of like independentizing myself became like a good feeling for me. And then in the spring semester, you know, my spring semester was actually really hard because my fall semester seemed quite easy for some reason. I don't know why that happens. I talked to some counselors at my school and they were like, well, it's either the fall semester or the spring semester. And the spring semester hit me really hard. I remember I was taking a lot of chemistry and it was super, super difficult for me to just grasp it all. And just the feeling of being away from home kind of hit because I was having trouble. Yet I feel like because I was so like open to asking questions at Luna with my teachers, I feel like that feeling kind of hit me and I was like, well, I have to ask for help, you know? So I really did connect to my counselors, my teachers, my professors. Like it was easy for me to do that. And for a lot of students, it's hard to do that. So I remember just feeling thankful for like the ability that I had to do that with my teachers. And now it's easier to do it in college because sometimes it can be intimidating, you know, going up to your professor or just asking for help in general because you feel like you're supposed to know everything, but you don't know anything. So yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you all for sharing. So this next question is for our parents on the panel. So were you aware of the challenges that your child just mentioned? And if so, what do you think your role was as a parent in supporting them through college? And was there anything that you wish you would have known that would have made you feel more prepared? Miss Mills, I know you. I know you're just waiting to.
Oh no, I was trying to get. I was trying to give her the opportunity to go first too. I didn't know what it was. So you're asking. Say that again for me.
Yeah. So based on what Kylan just shared of like some of the things that were somewhat challenging that first year, that first semester, were you aware of those challenges? And as a parent, what do you think your role was in supporting him through that? And then on the flip side of that question is there anything that you wish you would have known before that you think would have helped you feel more prepared?
I think what have made me feel more prepared is that we didn't have COVID. I mean, because that changed pretty much everything. I mean, support wise is basically be there if there were questions regarding school, how to approach professors with questions if there's some issues that he's having, anything like that. I will note this. Colin had the option to work. That was his decision to work. I would have suggested not to because I truly believe my freshman year was basically like, it was just focused. There was no job. I didn't get a job probably to my senior year in college. So I wanted him to do that. But his focus too also was that and then being independent and getting a car. So therefore, he wanted to do a little bit more with that. So support-wise was just pretty much pray for my child, for one, keep him lifted so that whatever it is that he needed, that I was there. That's pretty much, to be honest with you, was the support of being there with questions to be able to answer any questions. Just like I said, just being there for him. If he had any questions or anything else like that, that was basically what I was there for. Even to love on him when days, even though he's a young man, he's still my baby at the end of the day. So to love on him, to support him, to be there, to try to get his sister away because he has a 2-year-old sister that'll be 3 Monday. So she did a lot of things which she didn't understand. Colin is in school, so she couldn't walk in the room, and we have the discipline to keep her away, from that. But overall, I think he did a pretty good job with the challenges that were faced, especially with COVID that brought along those things. So I would say that biggest thing is support and being there to answer any questions that he had. Anything else? Am I missing something?
That was great.
Okay.
Ok, respondiendo a la misma pregunta, definitivamente sí fue un reto demasiado grande para nosotros dos. Siempre tuve una confianza de que Marianne iba a poder hacerlo. Siempre me di cuenta de que tenía mucho apoyo, no nada más de mi parte. sino de parte de todo los maestros de Uplift Luna. Pero siempre estuve dispuesta a poder a apoyarla en todo lo que fuera necesario.
What she's trying to say is that she was always confident in me and knowing like the ability that I had to be able to, you know, conquer whatever I had, like coming with me. And she knew that I always had support, not from just her, but from my teachers and staff as well.
Del apoyo que ellos te dieron y siempre estuve dispuesta a apoyarte en lo que fuera necesario.
Pero
hubiese querido poder tener la oportunidad de yo haber ido al colegio para poder a lo mejor estado más informada, pero para empezar, la información que nos dieron allí en Uplift Luna fue suficiente para empezar.
Okay. And to answer how she wished she could have supported me, or a way she would have felt more prepared, would have been that she would have like came and visited the school with me and gotten more information, you know, just kind of being there physically, like on campus, and, you know, just getting that information, like the whole tour thing with me. Like she really wished she could have done that, but, you know, the opportunity wasn't there, but she felt like she still felt confident and grateful for the opportunity that Uplift Luna provided for me.
Thank you both.
Yeah, that's it.
So the next question is for our scholars. So we've just been through a lot with COVID, right? And your experience in college shifted a little bit. So what would you say to students who are feeling discouraged or unmotivated about being a college student, right? And those that think, you know, college education has lost value? What would you say to those students that are struggling with that?
I would just say that you just got to keep a level head and just stay motivated. Definitely last year around this time, obviously I wasn't in school. We had been at home because due to the coronavirus. But even at the beginning of the year, it got very, very hard. And I was just like, oh my gosh, all these award letters, like I'm going to pay for college. And it's like you work hard for the rest of your senior year so that it will pay off for the rest of your life. And I just feel like you just have to continue to motivate yourself. If I had motivated myself, my mom had motivated me, I definitely would have just given up on the rest of the senior year. And it's just, you have to keep a motivation because it's really, really hard. So that's what I would say, stay motivated.
For my part, I would say that I feel like when we came back, it was my spring semester of college, my first spring semester of college. And yeah, at first I really didn't feel impacted by it as much as I have now, because I actually am doing online, like college online for the spring semester, like the whole semester. And I feel like it's hit me more harder this time, because a lot of the times I do feel very unmotivated. Like the whole online thing can be really draining, and I'm a person who learns the best while in class, when interacting with others and other people, and it's really hard. A lot of obstacles are put in your way, but the thing is that you're always going to have obstacles put in your way, like every single time. But it's your job to really look at those obstacles and have them put to the side and still keep going, because if you don't, like Kylan said, like if it's going to pay off. Like it really will pay off. Like you have to be able to pick up yourself now and, you know, have that seen later as like, oh, well, you know, that was nothing, because like it's just part of life. I've just come to that realization. Well, if I'm not taking the challenges that I'm giving, then how am I going to grow? Like I'm always talking about how, well, you know, I want to do all these great things in life, but like you don't just get them. Like those small things are opportunities that you are given to grow. Like don't wait on the opportunity for you to grow. You just have to like act on it. So act on what you're doing, and that'll allow you to just create a different mindset. Like I myself can say I'm not a perfect student. Like I have a lot of goals that I have yet to meet, but I feel like the more I give myself these tiny tasks, like even if they're hard, even if they're challenging, accept that, you know what, if I can do this, like I'll be a better person tomorrow. Like, so just take the challenges and make that self-motivation for yourself.
Such a strong statement for both of you, right? So our families that are listening, the two scholars that are sitting in front of you, right, are two scholars that really epitomize taking advantage of the opportunities that are in front of them. And so I think where they are today, and both of them navigating the challenges of COVID, have been helped because they choose to, like Kylan said, motivate themselves and push themselves even when it's difficult. And so if there's, really some real merit to what both of them said and Marianne said about really taking advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you. Very powerful. Thanks, guys.
Can I add something real quick? I also just want to say that you guys have like an advantage of how your senior year goes and how you play for the rest of the year. Obviously, for the rest of the year last year, we didn't know what was going on, if we were going back to school, how we were going to graduate or whatever. But now with the precautions that we have now, and now how more known we are with COVID, it's more easier to put in those precautions in place, and you guys could eventually walk across the stage. For me, I didn't get that. And sometimes I do get a little sad because, who wouldn't want to walk across the stage after 12 years of schooling? But it's just, you have to understand the circumstances in order for you to grow. Because no other senior class can say they've been through what you've been through, having a whole full year on and off, virtual, on school, out of school, just all that. So it's just very important that you take these circumstances and you kind of learn from them.
Well said, Kylan. Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Very well said. And I think there's just also that encouragement in knowing yourself and the abilities that you've demonstrated to be resilient, to push forward in the most uncertain times that any of us have ever experienced in our lives. And so definitely big kudos to both of you. So we're reaching our last question, and then we'll open up for Q&A. So this is for both scholar and parent. If you had the opportunity to talk with other parents, so maybe like you're doing now, who may also just kind of be second guessing college, is it worth it right now? What should we do? Maybe there's just some uncertainty with next steps with everything that's going on. What advice would you give them on having these conversations at home with their scholar, their senior that are thinking about what to do in the fall? And is there something that you would like them to understand?
Basically, what I would just say is go with your gut. Basically, because with these circumstances, it may worsen, it may get better, but you can honestly take these opportunities and you can think about how you're going to be, especially for a student who knows they can't really learn virtually. That that school you're going to happens to have their first semester virtual, or you're going to have to stay home, to really take that into consideration, because you do not want to waste your money. You do not want to fail a class and have to retake that class just because you weren't able to understand or you weren't able to grasp. So I would think to definitely just think really, really hard about your classes and when you're going to enroll and how you're going to enroll, and just, yeah.
Miss Mills, do you want to go ahead and share your part?
I was like, I say this to always say to support your child with whatever it is that they want to do. If they want to go to college, great. If they don't, I'm not one for pushing what I want on them, because it's their life. So if your child wants to go to college, I say support them in whatever way that you can. If they don't, then support them in what they really want to do, because we got a lot of great entrepreneurs who never went to college and they make really good money. So it just depends. For me, I was a little skeptical. I mean, I went 4 hours away from my mom, and I'm an only child, and it was kind of hard. But when Colin came to me about this whole thing, has always been Morehouse. Morehouse. I was like, oh my God, it's so far away, and and it was hard. But regardless of the fact, I put all that aside and supported what he wanted, what his goals were, why he wanted to go to this college, and all these other things. And I stood behind him. I supported him in whatever that it is that he wanted to do. The biggest thing that I will tell you all, I don't know how you guys are about with your kids, but for me, it's always just been Colin and I until like 2.5 years ago when I had a new baby. But knowing when your child leaves and dropping your child off for the very first time is one of the hardest things. I mean, I never thought that I would feel the way I felt. I couldn't let him go. That day, I was like, okay, how do I release him? He's 890 miles away. And I'm like, how do I do this? And, you know, therapists, they need people too. You know what I mean? So I began to research the empty nest syndrome, you know, all these things about, you know, how do you do it? I came back home after being 3 days there in Atlanta, and I went to his room. I was like, dude, he's really not here. And he really won't be back, you know what I mean, for a while. And it was hard. I'm just telling you, you can brace yourself. Some of y'all might not be as weak as I am. I think I might be a little weak, but it was something that I wasn't prepared for. I was packing, I was fine. But the day before we left on the flight, I did kind of like realize, okay, it's really happening. And then when I dropped him off, for about 2 weeks, I went through a really low part. And then I tried to pick myself back up, knowing that he FaceTimed me, and it was a joy, you know, of everything when he FaceTimed me. But just accepting that your child is really a young adult and things are a little bit different, you know what I mean? But going far away, that was a tough one. So, but I support him. We FaceTime. If he doesn't answer FaceTime, I call again. So I get another one, and then I call again or something like that. But I love him to pieces, and I'll always support him. And I think that's pretty much what we all do. But just prepare for that. That's big, huge when you drop them off. But I'm happy. He's happy. And with the support of Miss Jessie, I just don't know how things would have. I don't know what else I could say about her. I've said so many things. I've cried with her. You give people flowers while they're here. And girl, if I could throw you some of those flowers, I would give you like everything I could give you. Thank you for your support for me. And I think that made a big difference. Having her around really helped out, and Colin can say the same. She's been amazing. And just support and knowing that when you drop them off, it's far. So if you guys find something close, stay close. I like Colin. No, I'm just joking, y'all. But that's basically it.
Your turn, Marianne.
Okay, me and my mom are just like completely agreeing with Miss Mills. She's over here like crying because she completely agrees with what she said. And I guess she's like thinking about it, you know, but I'm sorry, what was my question? I'll answer my question first and then I go with my mom.
It's the same question. That's
nice, right?
Yeah, like what would you share with other parents? You know, what kind of advice would you give them on how to have these conversations at home with each other? And is there something that you would really like them to understand?
Okay. I feel like maybe I should start at, I kind of always thought that I was going to go to college, you know, when going to Luna in 6th grade, college was all you ever thought about, college. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, you know, but sometimes at some point in my life, like there had came a point where I didn't think I was going to have this opportunity to go to college because, you know, a circumstance came up and it just wasn't there. And so like my view completely changed. And I feel like having that perspective also helped me more like appreciate the fact that I'm in college now. And so whenever I was in that like phase where like, you know, I might just not go to college and everything, I kind of felt like didn't have any other meaning, like, oh, what am I going to do with my life? But at the same time, I came up with the resolution, like, okay, if I don't go to college, then that doesn't mean like I'm not good enough or nothing. So if you don't choose to go to college, that doesn't mean that you are not good enough, that, you know, you don't have any other options, because it's just, college is just an option that you have and it's there and it's ready for you to take. But if you don't have that option, you kind of have to make those options for yourself. And, you know, there's nothing bad, like wrong with that at all. So like Kylan said, if you're not an online person and you know that your school is going to be doing like online the first semester, like just, I would really double think, you know, do I really want to spend all that money? Like, I am not rich. My mom is not rich. And we do not have money to be throwing away, especially if I'm not going to benefit from it. So just really double think that option. However, if you are going to go to college, for parents, what I would say as a college student, what I feel like has been most important for me has been the support and kind of approval from my mom. I feel like we always look for this approval, whether we say that we don't or that we do. We are constantly looking like up to our parents, that they are proud of us. And I feel like that's something that it's always on my head. Like, I just want to make sure that I'm making my mom proud. So, you know, whenever I have those moments where my mom's like, you know what, like, I'll support you regardless. And I think I know that you're doing what's best for you. So the fact that she trusts me in the decisions that I'm making now and she'll support me is a huge part of what keeps me going. So I know your kid will really appreciate your support, regardless whether it's going to college or not. And just being understanding, because a lot of the times it's hard for parents to understand, especially since like my mom didn't have the opportunity to go to college. I feel like a lot of the times I feel very limited to what she can understand, and I feel very frustrated, and I just feel so much pressure on my shoulders. But no matter what, if my mom turns around and she looks at me like, you know what, like, I support you regardless, like, I admit that I may not know exactly what you're going through, but I know it's big and I'll support you. So that's one of the things that really keeps me going, including right now. I'm actually going through some like decisions regarding school, you know, it's gonna happen, if I'm being quite honest. Sometimes you're gonna rethink and be like, if the school that I'm going at, is it a good fit? Like, you're always gonna ask those questions, and it's okay. Like, don't be scared to ask those questions. Like Miss Jessie, I love her so much too. She's like my second mom, truly. I know. And I think my mom's okay with that. My mom approves of me calling.
I can share Marianne with Miss Jessie.
I'm always second.
Yeah, and she's just also been that support of that transition of me, like, you know what, like, I'm just having these thoughts, like, my career, am I ready? Like, am I really getting the best out of my education where I'm at? And so I'm in that process, and it's really overwhelming. I will say, like, I've just been researching on and on for like 3 weeks now, just making sure that this is the right decision, and having my mom's support. Like, just really, like 2 days ago, we were talking about this decision about like rethinking if I might be a better fit at another school. And it was so hard because for me, she was scared. She was like, well, I just hope you're making the right choice, you know, because you don't want to be like going back and forth. And that made me really nervous, because I'm like, oh my gosh, am I making the right choice? But regardless, she was like, I support you because I know that you'll make the right choice eventually. And so it's okay if you're also having those thoughts at some point in your life where you feel like, you know, I need to maybe do a switch. Like, don't be scared, do it, because if you don't do it now, then I just don't want to regret it later and be like, man, I should have made the switch. I should have gone for the harder thing, even though it's going to be like 10 times harder than what I'm doing now, but I should have gone for it. So yeah, support is my biggest one. Like, it's my comfort. Support is the best hug ever. Yeah, I think. Okay, Mom, your turn.
Ok. Estaba llorando mucho, pero todavía recuerdo la primera vez que llevé a Marianne al colegio tan lejos. Fue muy difícil dejarla en una ciudad muy lejos. Totalmente, para mí, ¿verdad? Totalmente sola, porque no hay ningún familiar allá. Pero confié mucho en que iba a tener la seguridad para ella allí en el plantel, en el colegio. Y una cosa que nos ha ayudado mucho a nosotras dos es la comunicación. Em, en algún momento, en el primer año, sí se perdió un poquito la comunicación. Hay veces que yo estaba mandando mensajes un poco asustada, frustrada, porque decía yo, ¿qué está pasando? Ya han pasado 3 días y no me ha mandado mensaje, pero pude entender el gran trabajo que ella tenía sobre sus hombros.
Okay. She's gonna do like pauses so I won't miss anything. So what she just said right now was that we drove up to Minnesota, they dropped me off, first year and me going in. And she said it was super hard, just like leaving me there with all my stuff. I remember they helped me set up my room. And that's one thing that I do encourage. If you have the opportunity to go help your kid, like set up their room, like do it. And, if you can't, that's okay. Like I understand because my mom is the type of person that needs to work every day to help keep up with their family. So that's okay if you can't. But if you do have the option, go help your kids set up. It's a memory that I'll always have. The first year, my first room, my mom helping me set up and her organizing all my stuff. I remember whenever she was organizing my closet and everything, after they left, I didn't want to move the order that she left it in. It was so funny because I was like, oh, what order did my mom put my clothes in? It was just something that, I wanted to keep that same way. But yeah, my mom said it was just really hard for her, to have me just leave. And the first year, there was a lot of miscommunication, we could say. I would sometimes text her, yeah, hey mom, I'm doing okay. Doing a lot of homework, and then sometimes she would text me and I would forget to answer, and that's something that really kind of it made her upset in the very beginning. We both would say it made her upset because, and I completely agree with her because I thought, I was like, well, it's okay, my mom would know that I'm busy, but that was my fault on my part too. So having communication on both parts is important. We've been better. Obviously, I was better about it the fall semester, and I felt like our relationship was more stable because my mom gets scared, so I get it.
Y la otra, pienso que lo otro que me gustaría que supieran los padres que quieren mandar a sus hijos a colegio es de que definitivamente los apoyen, porque esto es es una preparación que ellos están teniendo para el futuro. Para el futuro de ellos mismos, no para el futuro de nosotros, sino para ellos. Entonces, creo que, bueno, yo lo veo, ¿verdad? Como me siento feliz, orgullosa de poder apoyarla a ella en lo que ella decida, siempre y cuando, pues, lo que ella decida tenga un propósito bueno que la haga crecer.
For her, she was saying that it's just important to support your kids when it comes to college because they're doing something big and it's for them. And if it's especially for a good purpose, it's important to have that the support there from your part. And she personally feels very proud of just supporting me and knowing that she was part of that goal for my life, for my future. Oh, that's it? Okay, that was it.
Well, that was incredible. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and your backgrounds and your love for Miss Jessie. That was so great to hear and to witness. So we're going to open up to our Q&A. If there's any questions, I think we may have time for 1 or 2 questions for those that are still with us. So you can take yourself off mute or put it in the chat.
Robert, Miss Riley put in some earlier. Do we want to try to tackle one of those?
So I was actually keeping track, and you all covered all of the questions she had for this for the scholars, but she did have a question that could be for staff.
Great.
Let me see where it was. So, okay, so what do you recommend that parents know or are aware of in order to support our youth as they are navigating how to make choices for their future, whether it be college or career?
That's a really good question. I think it was Marianne who said earlier, supporting your scholar no matter what their choice is. And, you know, I've been a counselor a long time, and not every student is meant to go to college. And to me, it's just, your college is one of the paths that are available to them. And so supporting your scholar and exploring all of the options that are available to them and taking advantage of those opportunities. So, you know, you chose to put your scholar at Uplift, where they have some pretty unique opportunities for them to explore, not just college, but career opportunities and internships and summer programming that kind of open up a whole lot of doors for them. And so, you know, that would be my advice, is helping you and your scholar know what those opportunities are and taking advantage of those as often as you can. For the college side of it, the thing I think everyone struggles the most with is the cost of college and how to fund it. And, you know, Kylan can attest how much time we spent talking about finances, and still talk about financing his education at Morehouse. And so him and his mom, right, were really receptive in terms of listening to the advice they received and the discussions we had about knowing what it costs going into the schools that you're applying for. And so making financial aid part of the discussion from the beginning. And so it's just a constant challenge every year, right? They are still, every year, both of these families, making sure that they can afford to stay in school and get the degree that's going to be life-changing for them. And so, you know, doing that from the beginning and being really receptive and knowledgeable and willing to research and learn about the financial aid process is super helpful.
I would love to add one more thing. So my name is Tia. I'm the manager of career services with Uplift, and our department is fairly new. So your scholars and alums had the option to take advantage of our free career services. So resume building, interview preparation, cover letter, pretty much anything that your alum needs or your scholar needs to get them where they want to be. And this is for students who choose college, students who choose an alternative pathway. It doesn't matter what your alum's choice is. We will help them with internships, jobs, figuring out what it is that they actually want to do and making sure that what they're choosing will fit their interests. And so that's what I would push, just to make sure that you and your scholar are aware of all the resources that we offer with Uplift. This is free. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years later, you know, your scholar or your alum can still come back and receive some assistance.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So we are at time. So I want to honor our panelists and their evening, especially I think Kylan, you're on the East Coast time. Is that right? And so it's a little later over there. So we're going to
8 o'clock.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you for those questions. And I'm going to leave it to you, Ms. Jessie, to close us out in the closing thoughts that you may have for our panel and our families.
Oh yeah, so thank you to my favorite families for sharing your experiences with our current students and our rising students. Super appreciative of, we know how busy you are, and taking the time to do this really is just really is service driven, right? And providing that experience to our families that are growing in Uplift and are going to be in your shoes one day. So we appreciate all of you, and you know how much I love all of you, and just appreciate y'all's time tonight. For our families that are joining us, whether you're middle school or high school, we are so proud to be on the journey with you, and are proud that you chose Uplift, right? We take that very seriously, and I'm really glad to see you here tonight. That shows how much that you value your children's education and the opportunities that are in front of them. We're here to support you. That is our service. That is what we you know, get up and go to work every day to do. So if there are ways that we can help you, we are constantly looking for ways to expand and get these opportunities in front of your scholar. So if you feel like you're missing out, or you feel like you need information, please reach out to us. That's what we're here for. And we're always, you know, looking to make sure we're connecting with you and providing you with the education and opportunities that are available to you. So thank y'all for joining us tonight. We hope y'all just have a great evening.